Have you ever heard of the concept of eating the frog?
No, I've never heard that.
As Mark Twain once said, if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first.
People calling me up saying they need a feature, saying we can help each other, but I see the leeches. Get the credit where it's due, I ain't talking Visa. But since we talking Visa, don't say you won't pay me either. Did you catch that?
So we are touring New York City today for our client Solidcore. We have 1 studio open in Chelsea on 23rd between 6th and 7th. And we have 2 additional New York City locations coming online in short order. When we come into a new market, we like to cluster and open several locations, so we're not just operating and managing the process for 1 location. And obviously, you know, fitness in New York City is very competitive. We see the timing almost as the perfect opportunity to come into the market. We've been sitting on the sidelines for about a year and a half, just waiting for the market to continue to turn. If you're in New York City, I don't have to explain to you what's happened over the last year and a half. If you're not in New York City, let me explain to you what's happened over the last year and a half. There is more vacancy than I've ever seen in Manhattan. I'm in the business 18 years, so that says something. In addition to the vacancies, which are obvious to the eye when you're walking down the street and you see signs in the window, a lot of other businesses are paying rent that has continued to escalate over the years and is higher than market rent. So as a result, you know, their businesses are suffering, especially more traditional retail businesses that have been majorly impacted by the internet or the Amazon effect. So there's a lot of tenants that are still operating in storefronts that are not doing well. So a lot of landlords are giving them incentives to stay in business, rent concessions, things of that nature. So unfortunately, we're probably going to see more vacancy come online as opposed to less vacancy. I don't think we've bottomed out yet, but it's enabling us to make very, very favorable tenant deals for, you know, strong tenants, obviously, that landlords want, and we're just, you know, timing the market, like I said. So you'll see today a bunch of different locations that we're checking out. Wagamama, it's like a noodle concept. Like I traveled, I took a day trip to, like, I think it was Quincy Market in Boston for a lunch meeting with them. And that's before, like, I was really ever traveling. That was like one of the first day trips I ever took to Boston. So yeah, this is like the perfect example of having your lobby on the ground floor and then forcing everybody down to the studio on the lower level. So you're only paying a premium on the ground floor space, which you try to restrict to as small of a lobby as possible. So this is like the ideal boutique fitness space and not easy to come by. We design a rollout strategy for our clients to go into new markets, right? And if we have clients that have existing studios, we'll basically design a strategy that encompasses those existing studios. We'll basically design a strategy and decide how many locations we can do in a given trade area. From there, we select the trade areas that we are targeting, and it's all about available real estate opportunities, and that's constantly changing, right? So we tee up as many opportunities that fit the requirement, and depending on what the use is, if it's food, clearly you're going to have different issues with venting, black iron. If it's fitness, you're going to have other things, sound attenuation, ceiling heights, a lot of different things that you take into consideration. So once we start to vet those sites out, we tour the sites, and then we submit proposals, and we get feedback from the landlord, either direct from them, or if they have a broker, from the broker. And then we do another site visit as we start to negotiate the deal to really understand the economics in its entirety, not just on paper, right? So when I come into a space, I have to check out, everything that we have on paper and make sure that it lines up. And let me tell you, this is an open, beautiful space. A lot of the spaces that we go into are not as clean and easy to visualize, right? Because a lot of them have walls up and drop ceilings and cubicles and offices and things of that nature, so you can't see a blank slate like you can here. So you have to visualize all of the walls removed, how everything's going to be laid out, et cetera, et cetera. So we have an architect that'll give us a test fit so we can look at that in any case, any of the circumstances. Heart of the Upper East Side. So this is another example of when you're looking at space and there's a tenant still occupying it. It gets a little awkward, especially when you have somebody following you with a camera. The High Line up here. So we are on the High Line, which runs right up along the West Side Highway. And if you look to the south, you can see the Statue of Liberty. And to the north, you can see all the way uptown. And we're in the Meatpacking District, which is a very, very exciting area. Killing some time on the High Line before our next site visit. Beautiful down here.
People calling me up saying they need a feature, saying we can help each other, but I see the leeches. Get a credit where it's due, I ain't talking Visa, but since we talking Visa, don't say you won't pay me either. The price go up.